And it says we're live.
That lies. All right, let's see here. Um, if you'd like to keep, well, today's the air conditioning. Welcome to Texas. If you'd like to keep the air conditioning on, donate here.
In January.
Yes, it's currently 70 degrees out there. However, next in a couple of days we're supposed to have snow. So what can I tell you? Nope, same thing,
Different color.
different color. If you like coffee, and who doesn't, talk to these guys, order it here, and when you do order it, let them know you heard about it here, so they will continue to supply us with the holy Java bean of life. And the fox is drunk. Before we get started,
Spread his legs like that, it's got to hurt.
he's a fox. Before we get started, I'd like to make an announcement that Raconteur Press is growing by one. Mike Burke forgot his situational awareness and didn't duck, and has now been shanghaied and is now a official member, staff member of Raconteur Press.
He sat still for too long.
Yeah, he sat still for too long, and we got him with a sack. He actually accepted working for cheese sandwiches and abuse. So how could we turn him down? All joking aside, Mike's good people. He's a hell of an editor. Has good insights. He's a self-starter, which I enjoy. Takes the initiative, so we're lucky to have him. We're lucky he accepted.
Another hand on the oars. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that makes 5.
I don't know.
So now you're mismatched again.
It happens. Was there chloroform back? Yes, there was. Hey, Mike, does this hanky smell like chloroform to you? All jokes aside, we are really getting heavy into military science fiction, and the ladies love it, but they're a little. It's a little out of their wheelhouse, and they've been hinting heavily for a while. So what I'm doing is punting the slowly punting the military sci-fi over to Nick Nethery, intern Steve. Nick is also going to, as soon as his internship is done, he might want to duck the incoming handkerchief. Nick and Mike will be handling the mill sci-fi side of things, including the Yeet Cow stuff. That's about it. Moggies. Moggies closes this weekend. Send your Moggy stories.
Steampunk is out.
Steampunk. Woo! Steampunk is out, and boy, howdy, are we doing well.
Yeah.
We are up against what's his name?
Yeah. What's his name?
Taylor Anderson.
Yeah.
We're up against Taylor, and we're swapping first and second.
Jack Campbell.
I'm sorry, Jack Campbell. My bad. We're up against Jack Campbell, and we're swapping the first place and second place slots, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Being in the Mike, wait, what happened? Exactly. Hey, Mike, does this handkerchief smell like chloroform to you? So yes, Mike in the chat is officially Raconteur Press staff. Has my complete and total faith.
You
So
poor bastard.
you poor dumb. He said he said he'll work for cheese sandwiches and abuse. So how could we turn him down?
On the writing front, at least from my perspective, I got the last reader comments back on my novella, and it I'm plugging the last of those in this afternoon. It'll go to the editor tonight.
Okay, which world is this novella in?
This is a random military science fiction.
Thought it was going to be a short story.
Yeah. Short story that didn't work.
So when's the next one of the series coming out?
Hush.
When's the next Rimworld due?
This fall.
When is the
Fall.
the sixth book
No,
in your
no.
trilogy?
You got to move that up.
No, the next up is the short story that I'm 6,000 words into for the short story book. Then it's the Braille Chronicles, the Western, and then it's the next Rimworld.
Yeah, so that means you need it out by April.
I cannot write that fast, unlike some people I know, John.
He just does the 6 and 7 volume trilogies.
Yes.
You know it's true.
And I'm revisiting the Cronins for the short story. So there.
Oh dear.
I never published that. Cedar, that's not fair. I don't push the upper limit of short. If you want 8,000 words, I'll give you 7,999.
Well, I have
It's-
to give you that.
It's called writing to spec.
I have to give you that.
I thought it's called for 8,000 words, and you sent in 9,000. They told you to cut 1,000 out of it.
I have had a couple that I had to cut words out of, yes. And then when they didn't like it because it was too close to what the other authors had submitted, I just added about 8,000 more and published it as a novella.
Hey, Freeman. Apparently, Freeman's watching.
Hey, welcome, Freeman.
He's conscious, which is good.
Yeah.
We like that story. So Mike he's official raconteur staff now. And that takes a big weight off my shoulders because looking at the now 30 anthos we're pushing in 2024, we were starting to get a little light on staff. The ladies were starting to get a little burnt, and it's only January. So, yeah,
So we're up to 52 in 2024
Hush.
now.
hush.
Yeah, Larry isn't long. Yeah,
Larry's dead nuts on.
Yeah.
If you ask for 8,000, you get 8,000. If you ask for 12, you get 12. Larry is dead nuts on every time. And he's very proud of that, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact.
well, and that's one of the things, you always hear well, how long is X? How long is Y? How long's a short? How long's a novella? How long is a novel? The old days, old fart, most of your novels were 30, 40, 50,000 words.
3 tablets, no more.
And they were not trad pub, they were mass market. So they fit in your back pocket.
Yep.
Now we're seeing first novels by some authors in excess of 150,000 words. Some
And
approaching 200,000.
And no mass market paperback will fit in anybody's hip pocket.
No.
Well, I'm a big fan of, I don't know. Hey, it's the mail dude. I don't like hard and fast rules.
Yeah.
Hard and fast rules stifle innovation. Hard and fast rules stifle initiative, and they annoy the crap out of me. So everybody that says the hard and fast rule, it's your short story has to be this. Why?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be that?
So I can turn in a short story that's 180,000 words for one of the collaborations.
You can
Sure.
turn it in. We'll just punt it back to you.
Mass market USB thumb drive will fit. Yeah, that's true, Richard.
That's one of the reasons I'm real big on the all else is negotiable.
Yeah.
Now, granted, 18, 19,000 words, we can't negotiate on that. If you turn in a short that's 19,000 words long, you got a novella. Self-publish, and keep all the money.
Yeah.
Keep all the monies.
Rick, that's an excellent point. Ebooks have made word count less important. The thing is, how much detail do you put in? How much do you leave out? And we joke about Dave Weber and his info dumps, but that's his writing style.
It's a writing style. People,
Yeah.
his fans like him.
Now, if you go to the other extreme, look at Robert Jordan,
Oh
he
my
would
God.
fill entire chapters with info dumps.
I've been told The Wheel of Time is a fantastic series, and that I can't.
I
read
got
it.
through 2 books and I couldn't deal with it.
He
anymore.
had diarrhea of the pen.
Yeah.
You are 1.75 books ahead of me.
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
think Victor Hugo wins with 40-page description of the Paris sewer system. That's all I'm saying.
Say that again, louder.
Victor Hugo wrote a 40-page description of the Paris sewer system.
To
And
be
his
honest,
wins.
he probably, yeah, he probably needed that.
And you know why?
Because he's paid by the word.
Exactly. He was paid a penny a word.
Maybe that happened with Robert Jordan.
No, I think he was getting 3 or 4 cents a word.
No, Robert Jordan that's the way he wrote.
Yeah.
No, actually, I have read a Robert Jordan. Now it was romance, but it was actually like a 40,000 word novel. I
Yeah.
mean, it was reasonable length, and stuck to the subject.
Yeah.
I always said I read the first 2 books.
Yeah.
Of the Wheel of Time, and I always said the first one would have been great if they had split it out into 4 books, one for each of the major characters they
Yeah.
had in it, written that story.
Well, Robert Jordan did some Conan stories. I think in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't quote me on that. There was one of the publishers was publishing Robert E. Howard's Conan, written by
Yeah.
other authors. And Robert Jordan, I love the Robert Jordan Conan. He wrote really good Conan stories, but they were pulp books, like 40. It's like 40,000
Yeah.
words. Great little pulp book.
115 pages.
So I thought, I liked his Conan stuff. So by God, let's try Wheel of Time. No, I can't do Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
I've tried. I've honestly tried. I've given my best shot multiple times, and I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Larry, a good example. ASOC started out to be a 3-book. Now it's a 5-book because Larry decided he needed more room to write.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And that's going to happen.
Well.
How many of you got in your series now, Courtney?
8,
8? And you had planned what, 4?
1.
One.
One was turned into 4, and just kept going.
Somebody
Yeah.
was planting bunch onions.
Yeah. And that's going to happen. Everybody's different. Here again, you read what you want to read.
Oh yeah.
And that's the benefit, and also I think a shortfall of Amazon is there are millions of books out there now, over 2 million authors. There are plenty of books to read. You just have to find those authors you like,
The ones
however you find them.
the ones to speak to you.
Yeah.
We're not. Most of us aren't in college anymore. We don't have to read books that make us cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to. Ballistic Theory. I don't have to read that anymore. I'm not in college. I don't have to read that crap anymore. So
Yeah,
read the stuff that you like and that speaks to you.
But some of us read science for fun too.
And some of y'all are weird.
I mean, my post today about it came out of Space News about all the space junk,
That was cool.
and it's interesting. It's interesting to me being a retired aviator and knowing astronauts who've been up there and what they have to go through for training, because they're all trained how to escape a situation where they get holed. And it's not a joke. There is serious, serious problems with the amount of space junk, and it's increasing by leaps and bounds. There are over, depending on who you believe, 40 to 60,000 pieces of space junk floating around up there. Anything over the size of your fingernail is big enough to hold and destroy a satellite, the ISS, anything else that's up there. We haven't had a major collision in space yet, but I have no doubt that it's coming.
Oh, it's with our resurgence in actually getting out there.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, like Greg said, there's a tool bag floating around or zipping
Yeah.
around in space, and when that impacts something, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
For Chinese versions of fun.
Well, it doesn't take anything that big. You're talking speeds of 17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There are certain technologies to, quote unquote, mitigate some of the issues. And that's meteorite shields. But even they don't work depending on the size of the object.
Hmm.
You know, that tool bag coming back. Or another example, a couple of years ago, the Russian nuclear power plant that came back into the atmosphere that the Navy shot with an SM-3 missile and destroyed. What if they'd missed? What if they had landed in the middle of the U.S.? What would have been the death toll on that?
We could what if everything.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of that stuff's being ignored because it's not in people's minds. It's not in the forefront of what they think about on a daily basis.
Well, honest to God, most of the 40,000 bits up there burn up on orbit. Most of them are not that big. Now, there are some that are
Yeah.
huge. Most of them, I'd say the majority of that 40,000 will burn up on reentry. Now, there's some that won't.
Yeah.
The tool bag probably will, but
Yeah.
don't, depending on what they've,
Well,
How
it's
much-
not aerodynamic. So
how
yeah,
much
it will.
plutonium they've got in it. But the majority of that stuff up there, they don't worry about it because we haven't been in space, and it's due to burn up.
Yeah.
Now, Musk's car is not going to, when it comes back in what is it,
200 and some odd years.
something like that, it's
Yeah.
not going to burn up. But hopefully by then,
Yeah, it'll burn up because it's not aerodynamic.
we'll be able to take care of it.
So what a lot of people don't realize that 17,000 miles per hour you're talking about, we're talking about 2,500 feet per second.
Yeah.
Muzzle velocity.
Muzzle velocity, yeah. There's already been at least one instance that I'm aware of on the space station where they were doing a spacewalk and found a hole punched through a support bracket for one of the solar cells. Perfect clean hole all the way through it. They measured it, it was 10 millimeters.
Okay.
That's pretty good size hole.
Somebody lost a socket up there.
Yeah.
Somebody lost a socket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 10 millimeter. They go wandering anyway.
Yeah. Space junk janitor. Yeah. That's going to become a real thing. Matter of fact, oh God, who wrote that story? Was it Laura Hamilton?
Hmm.
There have been several written about,
Yeah.
and there was one TV series about it.
Yeah.
With Andy Griffin.
Oh, the Salvage
Salvage
One.
One.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And then there was a series. Series wasn't nearly as good as the movie was, but I like the concept.
And that's going to become a reality. Somebody's going to have to go get all that crap out of there. How
And
they
get
do
paid
it?
well for it.
Yeah. Part of why I threw the wrench at you. Yeah.
So
PSA is going to be working on this year. Yeah.
what else we got coming out, Jonna?
Way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah.
Courtney?
Hang on.
Somebody has a list.
Oh, right. We have lists.
Robots.
Say what?
Next up is giant freaking robots.
Sweet.
Coming out on let's see, when is it publishing?
February 9th.
February 9th, next Friday.
So next Friday, Giant Freaking Robots comes out, and I am kind of squeeing over this one just a little bit.
Just a little.
You're talking about somebody having a list, and I could just visualize Jonna coming out of the bar at a con, sort of leaning to the left.
Yeah.
But-
I
No,
don't
that
know.
depends on the amount of alcohol consumed.
Away from that code.
But
Julian's right now.
I'm really kind of squeeing about Giant Freaking Robots. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Cedar and I have successfully done Taco Tuesday 3 weeks in a row. Today will be week 4, provided I get my story finished.
So Taco Tuesday, which I'm not sure about.
They're writing stories every week.
So Courtney and Cedar writing stories every week. Well done, and are heading into week 4. Well done.
And of Cedar's 3 stories that she wrote, which are all connected.
Yeah.
First and third are staying right up there at the top of the category.
Yeah.
45-minute short reads. The second one isn't because it's like an hour instead of 45
Yeah.
minutes.
And her 31 Days of October, Inktober that she did with
It was Sam Robb.
Sam Robb is doing well too.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic.
Yeah, Tentacle Taco Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep. And mine has, anyways, you'll have to go read them.
uh,
But they're very fun.
yeah, RK, taking the cat to the vet is an all-day affair.
Also, stock up on Dermabond.
Speaking of which, did we ever get the Dermabond?
No, it's back ordered.
No, for frick's sake.
I put in an order at Amazon. It's back ordered.
No, not Japanese porn robots, Richard. Stop it.
Okay, that's a different publisher. You're thinking of somebody else. Raptor Press does not do Japanese porn robots. That's not really our fan base.
Yeah.
Seriously? You just quit with that nonsense. So, oh look, I got an entire pack of thermal blankets. So,
Thermal
those
blankets.
people we shove out into the cold.
Thermal blankets.
I heard dermal blankets. And I'm going,
Thermal
what?
blankets.
Super glue is cheaper than Dermabond. However, the conditions under which it is packaged are less than sterile.
Yeah.
Yes. Dermabond's packed under sterile conditions and you don't get, say, metal bits.
Yep.
Super glue, not so much.
Also, you get other funny chemicals in super glue that you don't necessarily want to put in your body.
It's nothing quite like derma bonding an oopsie and then going into a MRI for a different oopsie and having your half-healed super glued oopsie getting hot because there were metal fragments in there.
Sarah, it's simple because we need it. Because my stock disappeared / timed out and I used all of it. What doesn't kill you leaves you with interesting scars. Yes.
If you have metal powder in the super glue you've used to put something back together and you're in MRI, it will get hot. It will get really hot. It will get really, really hot.
No, I don't have cats. We'll never have cats.
So
I'll leave that up to the crazy people.
giant freaking robots. James Young is our guest editor on that one, and I'm liking this guest editor thing. It's a good way to get outside people to figure out what we are and what we do, because we are. I've been talking to other publishers, and we're kind of weird.
I've been saying.
we're kind of weird. So we're with these guest editors, we're getting a chance to show other people what we're about. And there's a big toss up on Facebook private boards, private groups, whether A, we're weird, or B, we're not what we say. And it's the best way to prove that, yep, we're what we say, is to bring in outsiders, get a look at how we make the sausage, so to speak, and let them go and tell people.
Yeah.
And so far, I think J.L. Young has been rather pleased with his collaboration with us. I certainly hope so, because he's a hell of a writer, really good guest editor, and generally all around good guy. So I'm hoping he's coming away with a good feeling about us. I'm hoping he makes a lot of money off of the book.
Well, the other thing is, and I can say this as an outsider. What?
I'm not going there.
Oh, shut up. They haven't tried to hide anything.
I suck at it.
And that's why,
Well, at least in this business, I suck at it.
yeah, but that's why everybody thinks they're hiding something, because they're not. Because everybody else does.
Well, I was talking to the ladies about when
Hush, Tom.
I was talking to the ladies about after I offered Mike a job. I said he has initiative, And he takes the initiative, and he's a self-starter. And this is a business, from what I've seen so far. This is it's a business that requires that your people be self-starters and take initiative, but on the same scale, most of the publishers dissuade that.
Yeah. Yep.
It's silly.
That's it, James.
What?
Space Sam Gun by Ben Bova. Yes.
Oh.
That was the story.
It's one of our big, and I heard this from Courtney first, who's been preaching it since I've known her, is that Amazon treats or regards the readers as the most important part, as the product, when they should be regarding the authors as the product. She's right. She's dead on. And I'd kind of like change that. And part of that is we're treating our authors right. I had somebody at MarsCon tell me that we literally treat our authors too well, which is a really weird thing to say. It's a really weird thing to say, but I'm guessing it's true. Don't care. Not going to change it.
Well, I actually understood what he was saying, because a lot of publishers run the way they do because they cover their overhead with like half the sales,
Right.
and then the rest goes to their authors. We don't do that. We split everything straight across the board, which means we're covering our overhead with like 6% of the sales, which makes things a little interesting.
Yeah.
But everybody gets paid and nobody gets screwed.
And the thing is I was taught, hey, Tom, I was taught that you take care of your people, they will take care of you. And that if you're going to do a business and you want to be good at the business, you take the long view, not the short view. My father, who was, dad was dead. He told me a long time ago that don't go for the $100 silk suit tomorrow.
Yeah.
Treat your people right. Buy JCPenney suits for 10 years and then get all the silk suits you want.
Yeah. It's also very much the military mindset.
Yeah. Treat your people right.
Yeah.
Treat them fairly, and they'll treat you right. And it's just, don't worry. We're not going to make money tomorrow. And there's a lot of small publishers that want to make their fortune the first year. It's not going to happen with us. Now, in 10 years, 20 years, I think Raconteur Press will be a money-making machine.
Well, now the other thing is too, you're telling people exactly how much is getting published, how much is getting sold, so that they can go in and do their own figuring on the math.
My military career was everybody had to know everything.
Yep.
When you were running around with your team, everybody on your team had to know everything because they might have to step in. I don't see any reason not to do that. It works.
Take care of the men, they'll take care of the mission.
Yep.
So somebody goes down, malaria or lead poisoning or Montezuma's revenge. You've got somebody who can step right in and continue the mission. I don't understand why that's not.
Because as Tom says, transparency goes a long way. That's the antithesis of traditional publishing.
To be honest,
is any kind of transparency.
Tom and Greg understand a lot of my backstory, and transparency was not a real big part of it. Transparency to your
for
group.
reasons.
Yeah, transparency is for your group.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know tell your people what's going on. I was talking to another publisher a couple of days ago, and he was trying to figure out why the hell what we were doing. He wanted to know what we were doing for marketing. And I said, we're not really. We're experimenting with, I think, one Facebook, Space Cowboys 404. I think we're experimenting with a Facebook or maybe Amazon. We're experimenting with marketing, just see what happens. But the majority of our best, we don't do marketing. We have authors that are fully invested because every bit we sell, they get an equal cut of it. So our authors are out there, and they're doing all our marketing for us.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to start marketing because that's money on the table that I don't want to leave on the table. But up till now, treating our people right has meant that we treat them right. They do marketing for us.
Jesse, why do you want to make sure the cabin door locks from the inside?
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And we've got authors we're in the first 4 anthologies, haven't published anything else with us. They're out there beating the drum for the latest one because they'll get a little cut if the latest one sells real well. The one that they were in a year ago will get a little cut.
Yeah, Cedar points out you have done paid advertising. Space Marines sponsored the Sacred Cow Shipyard.
Oh, that's right. We did, didn't we?
And one of our guys did a spot on Rider Dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Space Cowboys.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
So,
Very
but
cool.
Jesse, deadlines are not optional anyway. If you're writing to spec,
I heard deadlines and the whistling in my ears just.
well,
That's the thing
considering
with writers, your deadlines whistle past your head and it's no big deal. But you've got me running your deadlines. And my deadlines were, if I didn't get my work done, the opera chorus was naked. And nobody wants to see that. So I'm a stickler about get it done on time.
Military, I'm a stickler about deadlines. And
Except for yourself.
well,
I
no,
said that out loud. It's okay.
I've
Forgive you.
brought everything on time, on target. I might wait till the last minute, but it's on time, on target. It has not been.
Okay.
I seem to recall fuzzy yeet cows. were
You know,
discussed.
I was thinking about this, my response to guys and their measurements of mountains. We just let the guys believe what they want to. So.
Ouch.
6 inches.
So
Sure.
not going there. Not going there.
That is so very true, RK.
But honestly, treat your people well, pay them well, let them know. And that was beaten into my head in PLDC and BNOC was you treat your people right, keep them informed, whatever you can tell them, allow them to make decisions.
Yeah.
And get out of their way. So
Yep. As the training scenario goes, as a young officer, you're told to make sure a flagpole gets put up.
the Sandhurst flagpole test.
Sandhurst flagpole test. Yes. The correct answer is Sergeant, make it happen.
Yeah.
And walk away.
So this came in the mail.
Oh
I
shit.
think they know us too well.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Carry the mail, that's never good.
And they sent us tickets.
What the hell?
What is it?
It's tickets to the circus at the rodeo grounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's mostly in Spanish. Okay then.
Show him the ad.
From one business owner to another. And we have a crap ton of child passes.
Yeah. Not adult.
You know, these
Children.
are all children's passes.
Yeah.
These are all children's passes.
They know us so well.
Well, there's an ace on being a child. Anyway.
Well, depending on who you talk to, up to 26.
Yeah, that Sandhurst flagpole test, allegedly, is young cadet at Sandhurst his test is he goes in front of a board, and the board tells him that he has two poles, one 10 feet, one 15 feet, 45 feet of rope, a flag, uh, and other stuff, and a sergeant and a squad.
Yeah.
And that he has been tasked with making sure that install his flagpole. And what is your first order? And so I was told, every cadet fails this. But the correct answer is, Sergeant, get that flagpole up, and then walk away. And it's a reminder not to micromanage.
Yeah.
Which micromanaging is what kills. It's what kills a lot of stuff. Micromanaging it stifles initiative, kills creativity, sets your entire structure up for second guessing. Don't micromanage. Whatever you do, don't micromanage. I'm terrified that I'll wind up micromanaging.
Good point, Nancy. You can write attending a circus off as a business expense. Or you can just sit around here on any given day.
I've got about 40 or 50 child tickets. What the hell?
Well, it's real simple. You're in your second childhood, you get 2. Jim's in his third childhood, he gets 3. Third. Well, hey, he's old enough to be at it again.
Oh.
Wow.
No comment.
So, anywho, micromanaging is. I had a fear of micromanaging beat into me.
Yeah.
My PLDC and BNOC folks beat micromanaging out of me. With good results, I think, because Raconteur Press.
Well, it also depends on what your goals are. And that's something that I'm not going to say a lot of people do or have unrealistic goals. But I don't think people necessarily really think through their goals.
A lot of people, I'm discovering a lot of people don't set goals,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true
weird
too.
to me. Which is really weird.
They're
to me.
reactive, not proactive.
I hate being
You
reactive.
don't set measurable goals.
Right.
Well, that's the difference, is measurable.
Achievable.
Yeah.
I've set myself achievable goals, and I say achievable because I was setting like 5 years out and turning around and achieving it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Which was really, that's
Well,
it's all due to Courtney and Jonna
I told you.
and Sarah.
I mean,
But I
Well,
was,
I will say I told you so. You're like, we're gonna do this in 5 years. Like, no, we're gonna do that by the end of this.
she did.
Yeah.
And she was right.
And I was right because I knew how this works. Shocking.
Warrant officers, when you need the specialist with experience to tell the NCO how to get it done. Yeah, that too.
Never ever want to hear your chief warrant officer say, "Now do it the way I told you to."
Yeah. The other thing is, I worked on cars for years. I was trained by my grandfather as a child, literally. And to me, that was always relaxing. Even though you're leaving blood, you're scratching your hands up, everything else. But it was measurable. And when you finished for the day, you saw what you had accomplished.
I made a career doing that.
Yeah. As a writer, I sit here and I write 6,000 words. It's a few pages on a computer screen. Tomorrow, am I going to do that again? Probably not.
I've
'cause-
seen you. Yes.
Yeah. I can't write 6,000 words multiple days in a row. Maybe once in a while, yeah. But it's not something I can hold in my hands. It's not something I can show you. I did this.
I'm putting
Oh,
shiny
don't
gold
start
stars.
with me, Ian.
Well, I'm putting shiny gold stars on my calendar. Every time I hit my word count for the day,
Yeah.
I get a gold star, which is very kindergarten, but it works.
Yeah. That is 6 months worth of fucking work.
Oh, look, something you can show people.
Yeah, 6 months.
And
Not every day.
every day adds up to 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you have something you can show people.
And that's the difference. That's
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
talking about.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah, that's part of it. There are people who Gold stars work. Files get longer every day, unless they decide to disappear, which has happened. Hey, Jesse, I've typed on a typewriter, and I have the
Ow.
hands to prove it.
I used to typing class in high school. I suck at it now, but I'd actually taught me, or I actually sat in Mrs. Leahy's typing class.
Yeah.
And my fingers still hate me.
Yeah, Rick, that's also a good point. How many times do we go out and do a 12-hour burner and get nothing? More than once. But in those cases, negative information was also good, because that took that portion of the ocean out of the planning for the next events. And, you know, you talk about planning, that's something else. With what we were doing with a 4-hour on station and a 12-hour flight, you had basically your brief was 8 hours ahead of your on station period. So there were 2 events that were going to fly before you ever got out there. So as a briefer, I'm briefing folks on what to expect in 8 hours, telling them I'll update them at a 4-hour point, and I'll update them prior to them going on station. And there were times when what I originally briefed them to do was diametrically opposite than what they actually ended up getting when they got to on station. Yeah, additional hours in the logbook. Yeah, like I needed any more of them.
Hey, you're detached for 5 days. We need you to watch this white truck and tell us if it moves. 12 days later, hey guys, this white truck hadn't moved. Oh shit, y'all are still out there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Tom, I understand. Do 5 million projects to house with pictures. Yes. Sometimes taking a picture of what you've done is important because it gives you the feeling of productivity.
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. I don't,
IBM Selectrics,
that's what I learned on.
youngsters,
Yeah.
friggin' Underwood manual.
Black heavy braille typewriter.
Yep.
My
Yeah.
pinkies will never be the same.
People had IBM Selectrics. I mean, but they were people who were really, really rich. I mean, you know.
Not in the 60s. I don't think so.
Not in the 70s, the school I went to.
I didn't say it in school. I said people had them. They existed.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
We learned on 1985. We learned on electrics.
Yeah, Tom Smith Corona manual, trying to type like you're trying to push your fingers through the desk. Yeah. Yep.
So I don't have an issue with requiring that much. As long as it gets done. I worked on a rifle one time, and it took me 8 months from start to finish. And there wasn't really anything you could see daily.
Yeah.
There were occasional, but most of the changes were very, very, as I was putting it together. Like when I did the stock was just doing the finish on the stock was 4 weeks, and I'd rub oil in it, and then I'd hit it with grit, and then I'd grind the grit in, and then I'd clean the grit off. I'd put oil on, and I did that for almost 4 weeks. And daily, you didn't see much. Now, 8 months after I started, I had something gorgeous. That I sold for a considerable amount of money, but it wasn't something that, like I said, it took me eight months working on.
1961 is when the Selectric came out. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Not the first time, won't be the last.
But I don't require the daily affirmation of what I've done. I've just just getting up, drinking coffee, and sitting at my workstation was enough.
Well, I don't have much choice anymore, but you know, as you age, your goals change, and getting up in the morning is one of them.
Well, I've always been that way. I've never been on the instant gratification beaten out of me when I was young.
Sky's up, dirt's down. It's a good day. Yep. The other thing is, talk about typing. In the old B model P3s, we had a radio operator whose job was to type in contact reports and other things. And QSLs are our 2-hour reporting requirement when we chopped tactical, because we went off airways and went off of any kind of normal communications. There was a problem, though. It was a very small desk built into the frame of the aircraft, and it had to have room for a TTY, teletype key. So they couldn't fit a normal sized keyboard in there. So the Navy, in its infinite wisdom, subbed a secretary's keyboard from shore stations into a P3 to be ham-fisted by 18, 19, 20-year-old kids in an airplane that's bouncing around and trying to get and hold a secure channel. You would sit there and type a key once you got connected. So you're sitting there constantly beating on the key while you're trying to figure out what the code is you're supposed to send. And then you'd send it, beat on the key again. Very seldom did those TTY keyboards ever last more than about 2 missions. But we got the job done. Because if you didn't report in 2 hours, they were going to launch somebody to come look for your ass, which happened on occasion.
So just as a side note, you guys are familiar with Paul Harrell,
Yes.
gun blogger dude, who is currently not in very good shape.
Yes.
Pancreatic
Pancreatic cancer. My brother actually went to a gun show last month where Paul was selling off the majority of his collection so he could get money to his wife.
Yep.
There's now a current drive on YouTube to get his channel up over 1 million subscribers. So it kind of hits a payoff point when they get to that point. If anyone's interested in going and subscribing, if you aren't already, because that'll benefit his wife after he passes.
Yeah.
So just wanted to pass that on.
I think also his brother's taken over the actual.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, my brother actually bought a pistol, black powder pistol from him. while I was
Brian
there, but-
Dad would like a link.
yeah, I'll put a link in.
Yeah.
So we have it. So, but just he's a quirky and strange man, but I certainly adore him. So
Yeah. Paul was,
I don't think he's passed yet, has he?
no, he has
he's
not.
not gone yet, but he knows he's on the downhill run. So.
Yeah. And he was very much and is very much an honest broker in the gun world,
Yes.
which is unusual.
Good man.
I've had my issues with Paul, but he's got pancreatic cancer, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Yeah. Although I did think his beat down of Caleb was absolutely fantastic.
That was pretty spectacular, I
Yeah.
gotta say.
I'm
And ever so polite.
I'm losing so many of folks.
Yeah.
David Scott Donlin died. I think I told you all that. And mentor and hero of mine. Louis Airbuck's gone. Tiger McKee's gone. That was a shock.
Yeah.
Tiger McKee dying. And now, like him or not, I wouldn't wish pancreatic cancer on anybody. And his wife's going to need the help.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of folks don't have much insurance. And today, trying to get insurance is really interesting in some cases.
I don't know if he's having problems with insurance or not. There are, like I said, there are people that I have issues with in the gun world. Some more than others. Sonny Pazookas, I dislike that man intensely. Don't shoot your assistant instructors.
Yeah.
James Fussnuts, Yeager. I had
Yeager.
problems with. I had issues with James Yeager, but he went out bad. Now I'm at the point now that long time ago, I was told if you can't say something nice about somebody, don't say anything. And I'm at the point that, it's everybody's human.
Yeah.
Everybody's human. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Paul Harrell was honest, or is honest. I think some of his stuff is questionable at best, but he offered it honestly. It was his honest opinion.
Yeah.
And he has his own good reasons for why he did certain things. So no, go subscribe to his channel.
We do what we can to help the families. Those of you that know us know we've done that once or twice.
Oh yeah. And if Sonny Pazookas was, as much as I dislike that man, if he were dying, I'd say nice things about him
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, facts versus opinions are always interesting. The reason I brought up insurance, my youngest daughter called me last night telling me that they'd been notified by farmers in California that they're dropping all auto coverage. State Farm's already dropped all auto coverage in the state. All states dropped auto coverage.
Fancy that. Democratic policies make for insurance companies buggering off.
That and the fact that illegals don't get insurance. So
Democrat policies.
if you have an accident in California, which my daughter did, got rear-ended, sitting dead, stopped at a stoplight, got rear-ended, guess whose insurance had to pay? Because the illegal backed up, went around her, and ran the stoplight, getting away.
Well, one of the reasons, and I was for the longest time, toll roads pissed me
Yeah.
off. The toll roads down in DFW, the Metro mess pissed me off. I've already paid for the freaking roads. And then Rita sat me down and very gently said, Ian, the illegals don't use the toll roads.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And said, if you get hit by somebody on a toll road, it's not going to be illegal because they can't afford the toll tag.
Yeah, Rick,
She got a point.
she called USAA, and in California, the only way she can get USAA coverage is if I am a member of USAA, which I am not.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, try getting insurance in Florida. Florida used to be easy. Not anymore.
On to more cheerful things.
Yeah.
We've got stuff coming out. Y'all need to send us stories. Keep sending us stories. And honestly, guys, y'all are getting so much better. Watching the improvement in writers is one of the great things about this. We're getting stories from authors that you can see the improvement these kids are making, and it's great. I mean, it's fantastic. And we get to read them for free and early, and it's really kind of nice.
As you write more, you improve.
Oh yes.
What was the comment you made one time about going back and rereading your first?
Oh God. Oh.
I will never look at that shit again.
No. And bearing in mind that I've got notebooks going back to when I was 16, 40 years ago, that I was writing stuff. And there's a steamer trunk somewhere that's stacked full of college ruled spiral notebooks.
Yeah.
With stuff that I've written over about 30 years. And holy shit, God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. Early stuff. Oh my God, I was an angsty young man. And I had a really, really crap idea of the distaff side of the species.
And
Every
that
male of a
changed?
certain age ever.
Oh
This does not shock me.
no, but ugh. Ugh.
You know better now.
Yeah. And I probably need to find the steamer trunk. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to find the Senior Talk and probably get out some of those old stories.
Yeah.
And then maybe throw them at Nick or Mike or something and say, fix this. Guys, honestly, some of that stuff's embarrassing.
Mike will tell you you have a very lovely monkey.
Yeah, Michael, you have a very lovely monkey. One of Mike's phrases is that he will never tell you that your baby's ugly. He will, however, inform you have a very handsome monkey. We will get along.
Yeah. I don't have and will never deal with USAA. In the advent of not saying, can't say anything good, I won't say anything, I ain't going to say anything.
My steamer trunk, somewhere in the multitude of moves I've made, has been put into storage somewhere. And considering that's 1, 2, 3, there are about 14, and I'm not kidding, different places it could be between Mom and Chris and all the storage places that Rita and I have, and all the storage stuff that Mom and Chris have. It's somewhere.
RK, we can discuss that in private. I've got 2 examples that I personally observed and
Won't
knew the
deal with
people involved. So
Navy Federal Credit Union again?
no, USAA.
No, Rick T won't deal with Navy Federal.
See, now I'm just the opposite on NFCU. That's who I've got my mortgage through. And I bought a couple of cars through them. Never had a problem. But everybody has good and bad.
No, it's but steamer trunk somewhere, and it's full of,
Warehouse 13.
yeah, it's full of paper. So
Or did it do a Discworld?
yeah, I'm worried that the possums or the squirrels or the rats have discovered it's full of paper, and fountain pen ink can have gnawed their way through it.
Someone
gonna-
actually read it and did figured it made better fire starter.
It's going to show up as a storage unit show.
Right?
Uh,
Please God, don't read the stories in there because they're terrible. Now they started to get better. There was one I wrote, and it was a sword and sandals set on the inside of a Dyson Megasphere. And I wrote it while stoned out of my gourd on morphine because I zigged when I should have zagged. And it's a little better than the others,
yeah.
but not by much. Morphine does not trigger my writing very well at all. Yeah, I had this inside of a Dyson Megasphere, and I had the whole world set out, and it was sword and sandals, very much loincloths and bikinis and swords. Terrible, bloody awful. The craft was better. I wrote it in my 20s, so the craft was better than what I wrote in my teens, but not by much.
So we've wasted about another hour of people's time.
Oh
today.
wow, we have
Yeah. And we didn't even get on food today
for once.
for once. Yeah.
For once,
Yeah, hopefully it goes well for you, Nancy. Anytime you got to get lawyers involved, it's not going to be fun.
Rita read one of the notebooks, and she was giggling the entire time she read it. And it was a notebook that I was going through a Caliber Press Street Survival Seminar. And I was, so I brought a notebook, and there wasn't actually any note taking. So I was just writing.
Yeah.
I wrote half of a notebook in a 4-day seminar. I just writing and having and just stream of consciousness. And she giggled the entire time she read it, which is kind of scary.
Hey, when I read your African stories, I giggle the entire time.
Yeah.
There's that. Yes.
Well, they are funny. Realistic, but funny.
Yeah, and I had no idea that writing humor was so hard. I've been as I studied the publishing thing, I was reading people. Humor is the hardest thing to write. I'm going. I had a number 84 humor book for the first one I ever wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cedar just gave me one that's about 2 inches thick. Wit and Wisdom from
Oh,
the early 1900s. So I will be mining that for my joke list
There you go.
that I've been doing for way too friggin' many
48
years.
watching, 28 likes. What have we done to disappoint you? Just
The usual.
yeah, Tragedy
Tragedy is easy, comedy is hard. Yes.
I don't like tragedy. I don't do tragedy at all. I don't like writing it.
That's different. It's
If you want tragedy, just write the news.
yeah.
Right?
Well, I still remember that one young lady at Fantasy. Bubbly, pretty, always smiling, that wrote horror.
I like her.
You would. Yeah. But the dichotomy of her personality and what she writes,
Mhm.
just there's a disconnect there. And I don't want to know where the disconnect is.
No, you don't. No. That's just horror these days. Somehow starting in the early part of this current century, horror went from well-crafted spine tingling to torture porn.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's the fucking movies that did that.
yeah, and we got off into the books too.
Yeah.
And torture porn just isn't my thing.
I mean, who's going to walk into a fucking house at night without a goddamn gun, especially an empty house?
That's the point.
Of course, then the movie would be over in 30 seconds.
I don't walk out of my house in the middle of the night without a gun.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Y'all be safe, okay?
We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you serious about looking at your old